Benki Kuu, ambapo gavana wa Benki Kuu hapa nchini anatarajiwa tayari pengine ashatoa kauli. Tutakuwa tukiungana na mwenzangu kule tupate kujua anatoa kauli kuhusiana na masuala mbalimbali. Tusikie mawili matatu kutoka kwake Patrick Njoroge, ambaye ndiye gavana wa Benki Kuu ya Kenya.
And we will have to deal with the longer term issues, but I think in the short term we are covered, as it were. Then I wanted to say a few things about the banking sector, and I think here, very briefly again, we keep talking about it. So the point, of course, is the liquidity risks. The liquidity risks have obviously been minimized as a sector as a whole, because the sector is quite liquid. The issue has always been the pockets of, let's say, apparent shortages of liquidity, meaning some banks that may be less liquid than others, so distribution. And this, I think, we continue to, on the stance that we had talked about, we had mentioned before, which is making sure that there is better distribution of liquidity. And this, as we have said before, has become less and less of a problem, meaning less and less significant. So it's becoming smaller and smaller in terms of the distribution or redistribution of liquidity in this system. Credit risk, and this has increased in terms of, had increased in the past. If you think, for instance, in terms of NPLs, those had increased. But this time around, we saw they are beginning to ease, right? And so there is we are seeing this easing, of credit risk. And it's true, the NPL ratio to total loans has come down marginally by something like 0.2% between, say, June and the 2 months before that. But I think the point here is not to, it's true that is a turning point. We've reached a turning point. But I think the point here is to continue to encourage the banks to do what they need to do to deal with the NPLs, to deal with them in terms of having workout arrangements with those that obviously have that may be stressed in terms of paying their loans and things like that, and also, of course, going beyond that. It isn't something that is just to be done once. It's something working with the customer, and this is important, particularly when we think about banks being more and more customer centric. Other risks include operational risk. This have always been there, but I think we've been pushing banks to take actions that will minimize their operational risks, and you can imagine some of the things that they need to deal with. For instance, on their cybersecurity area, to make sure that they are better protected and they deal. They actually have an active, or should we say, proactive posture in dealing with those risks that may face them. I don't want to talk too much about reputation risk, because that's always there. It means things related to, for instance, AML, CFT issues.